Now, corporate giants are increasingly going after small business owners to defend their trademarks, and even in cases where the little guy wins, the legal fees alone can send their business into ruin. Small business owner Uzi Nissan is still defending himself against Nissan Motor. Even though he won the majority of his trademark trial, he says his business is now ruined. We're also joined by Paul Levy, consumer attorney at Public Citizen. He says a trademark dilution bill pending in Congress may make it easier for big businesses to go after the little guy. And Alan Drusen, executive director of the International Trademark Association, is supporting that bill. And Mr. Nissan, let me start with you. Give us the facts of your case with respect to how it played out and why did the legal fight that you undertook ruin your company?
Well, why it ruined my company is it's obvious. It's been 6 years. It's expensive. It consumes most of your day and most of your time, and ruin my business. That's not the only thing that it did. I mean, a year and a half ago, I said that it ruined almost every aspect of my life. Today, I can tell you that it ruined every aspect of my life.
How do you mean that?
I mean, just like that. Financially, you know, family, your health, everything.
Mr. Levy, should big businesses be able to sue someone like Uzi Nissan, whose last name is Nissan, for trademark infringement when he was born with that name? And they made it up, quite frankly.
Those cases are really quite disturbing. You know, when you've got an infringement case in which somebody is doing business in the same general area, and there's a danger that consumers are going to be confused about whether the newcomer is really selling the goods of the old established company that they've come to rely on, we can understand society's interest in preventing confusion. Consumers rely on truthful information, and trademark law, in its traditional sense of protecting against infringement, is used to police the truthfulness of commercial and indeed other people's expression. But when you get into the area of dilution law, you've got speech which is hypothetically truthful, because you don't have an infringement claim, at least if you have a dilution claim that can't succeed as an infringement claim. And then the question is, what's the social justification for suppressing this entirely truthful commercial speech?
Yeah, now, Mr. Drusen, let's take a look at the two cases. Uzi Nissan, you know, he's not Nissan Motors. It seems pretty clear about that. Now, Sam Buck, who put her name together with a capital S but then a small b and put it together so it looked maybe a little bit more like Starbucks than if she were to have said Sam Buck's Coffee. You could maybe make an argument that Starbucks had a case here, but are some of these big companies just beating up on little guys to make sure they don't make any inroads into their own businesses?
Well, I think as your news lead-in made it clear, this isn't always big guy versus little guy. Sometimes it's big guy versus big guy, little guy versus little guy. The trademark laws protect all trademark owners.
That's true.
In the case of the Starbucks matter, I don't know much about the facts of that case, but it was an infringement. And it seems to me if you've got a small coffee shop and you're selling good coffee, you're better off picking a name that doesn't infringe on somebody's established trademark rights and then continue serving your good coffee.
Mr. Levy, you were about to say something.
I agree with Mr. Drusen about the Sam Buck's case as an infringement case. Here you have somebody in the same line of business, and in fact, according to the judge, she hadn't used the name Sam Buck since 1993. I gather she took advantage of the fact that that was her maiden name or something like that to claim that she had the right to use the name Sam Buck to describe her coffee store. But the problem is they also threw a dilution claim in there. And if you've got an infringement claim, why do you need the dilution claim except for purposes of intimidation?
Let me finish with Mr. Nissan to find out what he is going to do next. Mr. Nissan, obviously you're not, making and selling Japanese automobiles. So what is your next line of business? What will you do having suffered the financial problems and personal problems that you've suffered fighting this case? What do you do now?
Well, I'm still running Nissan Computer, trying to diversify in other things to make a living. But, I heard before that, companies need to protect their trademark. If not, they're losing them. Taking consideration in the year of 2000, we identified 192 companies in the United States that using Nissan, and Nissan Motor has singled me out. They have not lost their mark, even though 192 other companies in the United States are using it.
All right, I've got to leave it there. Uzi Nissan, Paul Levy, Alan Drusen, thanks for being with us today.
Certainly.